Children, in this session, we are going to cover chapter number 10, Agriculture in India, part 1, Introduction. Now, agriculture is the major income earner sector of our country. Now, this is true. This is also true that the rapid industrialization, it is taking place, but still industrialization, industrial sector, it has not replaced the agricultural one. So, it remains to be the important one. Now, when we talk about agriculture, the thing that comes in our mind is the production of the crops. But indirectly, the machinery, agricultural machinery like the tractors, harvesters. So, the agricultural industry, it not only supplies the raw material to the industry but also act as the consumer for many of the industrial products, thereby giving employment to millions of people, because many of the agricultural products, they are exported. Like India, we are the largest exporter of tea, tobacco, coffee. Okay, so this is what the importance of agriculture is. Now let us talk about the salient features of the agriculture. First one is dependence on monsoons. Now, the agricultural practices that we have, they are still primitive. We are not a mechanized agricultural country. So, Indian agriculture, it has been always dependent upon the arrival of the monsoons. Now, monsoons, they are unreliable, they are uncertain, they are irregular. Then the large scale irrigation, they serve only one third of the crop area, and the rest of the country, it has to rely upon the variety of the monsoon season that it will bring or it may not bring. So this is the dependence on the monsoons. Still, our country, it is dependent on the monsoons for agricultural productivity. Then variety of the crops. Now we have, our country, it has a very large area or very huge kind of variation where the landform is concerned. Now with the variation in the landform, the climatic condition and the soil condition, they are also different one. So it gives our country an added benefit to produce the variety of the crops. So both tropical and subtropical and temperate crops, they are produced in our country. Then the preponderance of the food crops. Preponderance, it means large number, quantity. Now, India, we are the second most populous nation in the world. We have got a huge population, a very large one. Now, to support that population, we require the large number of the food crops over the other cash crops. So this is the most important feature of our agriculture, of the Indian agriculture, that more than 2/3 of the total cropped area, it is taken by the cultivation or of the food crops. We have the agricultural season or the crop seasons. Now we have three main cropping season, that is Kharif, Rabi and Zaid. Now Kharif season is when the ground is prepared in April and May, and seeds are sown in June on the arrival of the rain, and harvesting is done in the beginning of November. Now the major crops are rice and maize. Where Rabi is concerned, the ground is prepared at the end of the October, beginning of November, and harvesting, it takes place in March. The major crops are wheat, jowar, bajra. I'm sorry, not bajra, barley. We have the third season, that is the Zaid season. Now this is the summer cropping season, and crops like rice, maize, groundnut, vegetables and fruits, they are grown along with the pulses. Tremendous amount of the change has taken place at the onset of the Green Revolution during the 1960s. Now this was one of the initiative of the government that has produced the high production of the agricultural products, so much so that not only we are feeding our people and exporting the various of the crops, but we are also having enough of the storage of these crops with us. So this is what the Green Revolution, it has benefited the Indian agriculture on a tremendous and on a very high scale. Now what was done during the Green Revolution? What were the various methods or the measures they were adopted? The intensive agricultural Development Program IADP. Several of the measures they were adopted. Now these programs they were aimed at transforming agricultural sector and increase the food crop production to meet the increasing demand. Now these methods they were use of the high yielding variety of the seeds. Now even on a very smaller area, small patch of the agricultural land, when these variety of the seeds they were used, they gave a very high produce. Irrigation networking systems they were launched here in the country. Canal networking system, then the wells, the tube wells, tank irrigation that we have studied in the previous chapter, which gave agriculture a boost. Then the use of the insecticides and the pesticides they were made. Consolidation of the holdings they were made, like if the farmers land it was distributed in a haphazard manner, so one piece of the collected land was given to the farmer, agricultural area was increased, and because of it machinery it could be used on. Land reforms they were made, rural electrification was there, improved rural infrastructure whereby providing water and electricity and roads they were provided in the interior villages. Then the agricultural credit that was given by the banking facilities, even the Grameen banks they were opened up. Then the agricultural universities they were opened up, use of the chemical fertilizers that was made to increase the agricultural production. Now because of which the food grain production it was increased in the country, and India became self-sufficient and self-reliant where the food production it was concerned. Now by the time it was 2010 and 11, the production of the food grains it increased 4 times than what was immediately after the independence. These states that have been most benefited by the green revolution, they are the states of Punjab, Haryana and Uttar Pradesh. They have reaped the rich success stories because of the green revolution. Let us now go through the problems of the Indian agriculture. The first one given here is the small and the fragmented land holding. Now it means that earlier the system in our families they exist that was of the joint family system, and the elder son was given the whole of the property, even the lands they belonged to him. So the lands they stayed with the same family for a longer period of time. Then the laws of the country it changed. Property was to be divided equally among the brothers, among the siblings. Now what did it lead to was the fragmented land holding. Smaller pieces of the same land it went out to the family members, to the brothers. Now with it the agricultural area it also reduced. Irrigation became very difficult, and these dividing and the subdividing of the land for the inheritance, then the lot of the labor, lot of the time it was wasted out in taking care of the smaller holdings. Now, along with it, the intensive farming technique, then the increasing population, it also led down to the small fragmented land holding, and because of it, the agricultural practice it became very difficult. Now, in states like Punjab, Haryana, Maharashtra, Rajasthan, consolidation of the holding, that is the realloting the holdings which were fragmented earlier, that is being taken place. Now what would happen that earlier where the land it was distributed to the far off places, the farmer would be given one big piece of land instead of all the scattered pieces of the land that he would be having. So agricultural area it increased, agricultural machinery can be used, because of which the production it could also be increased. Then the next one is the poor quality of the seeds. Now most of our farmers, the Indian farmers, they are poor. They are poor farmers. They cannot afford to have the good quality of the seeds. So if the quality of the seed is low, obviously the produce out of it is going to be low. Now to solve this problem, Government of India, they established the National Seed Corporation of India in 1963, which will lead to the supply of improved seeds to the farmers, and some of it at the low cost. The third one is the lack of the proper use of manure and fertilizers. Now they are essential so that the soil it could retain its fertility. Now, the continuous use of the Indian soil without the use of the proper manure, it has led down to the depletion and the exhaustion of the soil fertility, which has resulted in the low productivity of the agricultural produce. Then next of the problem is the pest and the diseases. Now our farmers, they are illiterate. Much of the awareness it is to be brought to them. They should be educated, they should be made aware about the protection of the crops and the use of the various of the biocides. Now that is very essential. The next of the problem we have is the traditional upbringing. Now the Indian farmers, they do not like to come out of their comfort zone. They do not like the change. So they stick to the traditional way of the farming, which give the produce only whatever they require for their family requirement. So they need to break down this circle and sell off their crop commercially. Okay, so with very little improvement, the Indian agriculture, it is of the subsistence type. Now in this type of the agriculture, whatever the farmer is producing would be sufficient for his family needs and nothing would be available for the commercial selling. So that is the subsistence. Indian farmers, they are still following this type of the agricultural method. Then because of the heavy rainfall in many areas, the soil erosion, that is tremendous, which has again affected the agricultural production. Our farmers at large, they are dependent upon the monsoons. So the nature of the monsoon is such that maybe a heavy amount of the rainfall it will take place, or there will be no amount of the rainfall, or the flood like condition it will be there, or the drought like condition it will be there. For any sort of the conditions, then the agricultural produce is likely to be affected. Excessive pressure on the land. See, our population is continuously increasing, but the land is not. Farmers, they are still ignorant, they are still illiterate. Efforts are being made to provide them all the modern facility, but the progress is slow because we are still the developing country, and moreover there is a huge difference between the urban areas and the rural areas. When we compare the agricultural production of our country towards the other countries, the average production, the average yield of the crops, it is much lower as compared to the other countries because of all of the reasons that we have discussed just now. So the government has taken the initiative, and in the 5 years plan they have come up with many of the steps to increase the crop productivity. National Agricultural Policy, it was announced by the government in July 2000, and it aims and objectives are to remove the major problems of the agriculture and improve the factors that are related to the improper and insufficient uses of the natural resources. Now some of the salient features and the objectives of the agricultural policy. They are like modernizing agricultural sector, enhancing the production of the major commodities, then raising the productivity of the inputs, protecting the interest of the underprivileged farmers, checking the environmental degradation, and providing agricultural research and training. Now the measures taken to accomplish the suggested objectives, they are listed over here. We can read it out. To utilize the barren wasteland for agricultural purposes and afforestation, to control indiscriminate division of agricultural land for non-agricultural uses, enhance cropping through multi-cropping and intercropping, and to emphasize rational use of the ground and surface water so that over-exploitation of the groundwater resources can be checked, and supporting farmers and landless laborers by providing adequate financial incentives. Children, with this we come to the end of the chapter. Have a reading and avoid the portion that is not in the syllabus. Solve the set of the question answers. Thank you.